TV.
You're watching Business Access TV.
Business Access.
Business Access. Business Access.
Business Access.
You are watching Business Access TV.
Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
Serious about business.
Welcome to another edition of Corporate Events. I'm your host, Amita Prasad Webb. Today we bring you the SEBI Closeout event right here at the Venetian at the Terra Nova Hotel. Please stay tuned for highlights.
We're celebrating 6 years of sector development and social enterprise excellence led by the joint USAID and JN Foundation initiative, SEBI. With our sector founders, champions, stakeholders, bi-social consumers, and social enterprise practitioners. Take this journey with us from 2012 to 2018 to see how the triple bottom line of people, purpose, and profit approach to business is changing the face of entrepreneurship and social development in Jamaica, one community at a time.
The JN Foundation made a very conscious decision to address a specific problem within the social sector, which is the inability of social organizations to effectively deliver their core services. After years of seeing social interventions discontinue due to a lack of funding and understanding the changing global landscape in which grants and donations are being reduced to this region, former General Manager Safri Brown designed the Social Enterprise Boost Initiative. In 2012, the JN Foundation partnered with USAID to introduce and formalize the social enterprise model. SEBI's goal was to assist organizations operating within the social sector to become income generating and self-sustaining whilst addressing social, environmental, cultural challenges. SEBI proved that social enterprises can become viable businesses through targeted support services such as capacity development training, mentorship. A number of our enterprises were assigned mentors, equipment support, and networking to some 35 social enterprises in business incubator and accelerator programs. The enterprises over the period of SEBI were able to generate over $186 million and employ on a part-time and full-time basis over 500 persons. They introduced innovative products to the market, and some experienced phenomenal growth over a relatively short period of time. The impact of SEBI also reached over 100 additional social organizations that participated in the open network activities. Among our outcomes were inclusion of persons living with disabilities. At least 20% of social enterprises in the SEBI incubator and accelerator programs were either owned or operated by persons living with a disability. The partnership between JN Foundation and USAID has created what is now an emerging social enterprise sector. There is enthusiasm about using business as a force for good, which has been at the foundation and the heart of the JN brand. The Social Enterprise Boost Initiative, which was a partnership between Jamaica National Foundation and USAID, has ended today. For us, we are very proud of the pioneering work that we have done in terms of introducing this new form of business model to social organizations where they can move towards become more self-sufficient. Today, we really recognize the enterprises that stuck through the program, the enterprises that made significant improvements. Enterprises like DEFCON, Educators, Inspire 365, Brescia, Bunkers Hill. The JN Foundation has really always done things differently, not afraid to take on new areas, new ideas, and SEBI, Social Enterprise, was another testament to the kind of innovative work that the foundation does.
So talk to us about SEBI, how it came about, and what was happening at the time for it to, or why people felt that it needed to come about.
The reason that we designed SEBI was as a response to these kind of ongoing needs of organizations across Jamaica for funding. And JN Foundation had tested the social enterprise model through the source in 2007, done a number of them across the country, and were able to show that social enterprises were a real tool for community development, and then responded to these organizations that needed funding, that we couldn't provide enough funding. We just didn't have enough money to constantly be able to say yes. And instead of just sort of being sitting ducks and responding with no's, we can't help you, we decided to develop SEBI as a real tool for organizations to figure out a different way to become sustainable. We saw this as a growing risk and a growing threat for the voluntary sector in Jamaica. And so SEBI was as a direct response to that threat to make sure that we provided a different opportunity for organizations before they sort of ran out of steam, ran out of funding, and closed their doors. And so this is what we had in mind when we designed SEBI. We applied under the Development Grant Program 3 with USAID and started the project in 2012.
7 years later, we're now at your closeout event, which is a big deal. What are your thoughts and personal feelings?
I mean, you know, SEBI has been extraordinary. From where we started with the source back in 2007, I remember everybody looking at me and somebody telling me you're talking mumbo jumbo when I said something about social enterprise, to today where everybody understands and knows what that is. And that, you know, there's so many different organizations in the space now, which is really exciting. And so for me, it's really just about, you know, very proud to have created this framework where organizations can choose what they want for themselves, but there is an avenue for that. And yeah, just really proud of the accomplishments of the team. We had a great project manager in phase 1, Jennifer Sharia, and Opal White in phase 2 really took the project to the next level. And so we're really, really proud of them. And then we couldn't have done this without USAID and their contribution over the years.
And that was the first segment of the SEBI closeout event. I hope you still be here when we get back from break. We have more. Please stay tuned.
Island Hour, it's Island Hour, it's Island Hour. Bullseye for Eyes Summer Sale. Try your luck at the Bullseye and get up to 40% off your frames. Land on the Bullseye and your eyeglasses are completely free. This summer, July 15th to August 31st, everyone is a winner at Island Eyewear. Conditions apply. Call 630-1180 or visit islandeyewear.com. Island Eyewear, your price, your style.
Are back with another exciting, innovative, and inspiring season.
It takes a lot of stick-to-itiveness, being consistent and persistent in whatever you're doing. That's the bottom line.
Business exists to add value to people's lives. And if we're not doing that, might as well we knock down the store and just call it a day.
It's a season 3 of Creating Wealth, Mondays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Welcome back to the SEBI closeout event right here at the Terra Nova Hotel. We go straight to stage.
Over the last 2 years, this social enterprise has grown their employee base by 10 times, added 11 more outlets to their distribution channels, and increased their annual revenue, as you heard before, from $4 million to $13 million. So help me welcome Social Enterprise SOCENT 28 awardee for growth, Team Def Can. Come on up. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for the SOCENT 2018 awardee for innovation, Educators JA. And the SOCENT Award for Inclusion, Superior Craft, and more. And next, the SOCENT Award 2018 for Rural Generation. Next Step Lifelong Educational Services. The SOCENT 2018 Media Champion, Ralston Hyman. Thank you so much, Ralston. Come on up. And the SOCENT 2018 Public Sector Champion, Charmaine Brim of the Planning Institute of Jamaica. Thank you for your passion. The SOCENT 2018 Private Sector Champion, That one goes to the Jamaica Stock Exchange. We're going to be handing out some certificates to all the participants of SEBI. We call them our pioneers. Give everybody a really huge round of applause. Your contribution to this sector is going to go far and wide.
We're here at the SOCENT Awards 2018. You're an awardee today. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, it was very encouraging, affirming. We were awarded for growth, and at the end of the day, that's what we're about. We want to continue to grow our impact in the deaf community in Jamaica. And so 2 years ago when we started the SEBI program, we had 2 employees. Right. And now fast forward 2 years later, we have 14 full-time employees of 10 to 12 other youth that are engaged in part-time work and transitioning into full-time work when we have more opportunities for them. So being able to grow from 2 to 14 in 2 years has been an incredible achievement, a lot of hard work by our team, and is encouraging for us just to receive that award and have our youth be able to go up on stage and receive that award.
Yeah. It's a big deal and congratulations. In regards to DEFCAN being a part of SEBI, how exactly did they help move your business along?
I mean, before we were involved in the SEBI program, we didn't really understand what social enterprise was all about. We didn't understand that as a sector. We did not start DEFCAN Coffee with the goal of being a social enterprise. It was really just a reaction to the issues that we saw where our youth felt very much like they can't. Like, oh, I'm deaf, poor me, I can't. And it's like, no, you can. So it was mostly about reaching into the community and getting our youth to believe in themselves. But then as their confidence grew and we got involved in the SEBI network, got opportunities to do more events, started building partnerships, and our staff were working in other cafes and coffee shops in different locations, their confidence grew, and then the rest of society started recognizing them over and over and over again too. And so we realized this is actually a message beyond just the deaf community, because DEFCAN started strictly to encourage our youth to believe that they can, but now they're getting the Prime Minister's Youth Award for Social Enterprise. They're getting Social Enterprise Awards here at this event. So as they get more recognition, other people are starting to realize, oh, deaf can. And so now we have even bigger sight set on just changing how people view the deaf community as a whole.
So DEFCAN, you're growing. What's next?
Next for us is continued growth through partnerships. We have existing partnerships already in Kingston, in Portmore, in St. Elizabeth, and Montego Bay. And so if there is a company out there and all you want to do is serve good coffee, but you don't know where to start, you don't know what to do, there's not baristas in Jamaica readily available, come to us. We'll work with you, we'll develop solutions, and we'll provide a staff member that's trained already as a barista and help you serve the needs that you have with your customers.
I extend on behalf of the JN Foundation our gratitude to the USAID for partnering with us on this project, and commend the SEBI and the JN Foundation teams for the seminal work that they have accomplished during the past 6 years to make this project a success. As Jamaicans, we can all play our part to help our social enterprises to excel in their businesses. That's what Buy Social campaign is all about. With all our financial support, these entities cannot thrive. When they succeed, Jamaica succeeds. Well, Jane, history starts from helping the poor and people with problems. That's our history. And unlike giving handouts and charity, JN Foundation really felt that we want to be able to help those in communities who can't help themselves, to be able to empower them to be able to help themselves going forward. We were very lucky to have been able to have a partner in the USAID who saw and captured what we're trying to do is in terms of community development and also nation building. What it started in few areas, now it's nationwide. And you can see that we have hundreds of small groups who are now able to help themselves and to be able to turn a profit and be able to make useful lives for themselves. The relationship or the program with USAID has just come to a close. So the foundation is moving it or changing it from SEBI to SEJA. So this will continue. We will work with other groups in helping communities to grow and using the same model since it has worked, and we're sure that it will continue to do that. So we're very happy in what we have seen, and you have seen the numbers of people that are turning out, with people turning hobbies into business, but also having social conscience or environmental importance, while at the same time making enough revenue to make the business sustainable. And that is what the difference in terms of from a social charity to social enterprise business.
Ready for cable for as little as $100? Ready for no monthly cable bill? Ready for 10 TV channels absolutely free? Then pick up our Ready TV box at authorized stores for $4,500. Hook it up to your TV set, then top it up with Ready Credit for 1, 7, or 30 days. Buy now and get $1,000 free Ready Credit and start watching your favorite shows. Pick it up, hook it up, top it up. Ready TV. Prepaid cable TV when you're ready. Now serving Kingston and St. Catherine. Limited time offer while stocks last. Conditions apply.
They say it takes a village to raise a child, but the world will one day need the leadership of that child. The time you spend with your child matters. It stimulates their minds and shapes the way they act. Talk with your children. Help them to better understand the world around them and to value what is truly precious. Above all, the most valuable gift you can give them is love. Play, talk, teach, love. Take the time. It makes all the difference. A message from the Parenting Helpline and Ad Council Jamaica.
You are an awardee here today. Congratulations. Tell me a little bit about your business.
So next step is a social enterprise that's focused on youth engagement and employment. So we offer services such as coaching, training, speaking, and tutoring in the parish of St. Thomas and also anywhere in Jamaica or the region.
You were an awardee here for rural regeneration. Talk to us about that.
So we operate in rural Jamaica in the parish of St. Thomas, which is often underscored as a parish that is behind. So we have positioned ourselves as a social enterprise to be a part of the mission, to be a part of the change. And that started from my personal story where I had issues of self-worth growing up in a rural parish where there are so many rural stereotypes. And I looked around me and realized that the young people were equally affected just as I was. They were not delivering themselves as they should in terms of self-delivery and self-awareness. I wanted to make a change. It started a social enterprise that's really doing a great job. We partner with Heart Trust NTA, with the British Council, with various organizations that have similar mission to truly make a change while making profit.
It's basically the end of SEBI. This is their closeout event. What are your thoughts on that and I guess your feelings?
Well, SEBI has been a phenomenal support to our brand. So in terms of our brand presence and positioning from our look and our feel, we have gotten a lot of support. And they're also big on making sure that your capacity is built to match that powerful branding that we have at the front. So we had business mentorship. We were able to put in some systems that we did not have before. We actually know what the triple bottom line really means in terms of people, passion, profit. So we're taking care of our staff better, having the systems in place to make sure that inside and out that we are a powerful brand. That's the biggest thing that we have gotten from SEBI, and we're really looking forward to Social Enterprise JA. We're now well positioned to benefit from some of the support that will now come from the Social Stock Exchange and other movements that are taking place to strengthen the social enterprise movement in Jamaica.
But what's next for our next step?
Well, for next step, we're looking at actually scaling up. Our services are now well packaged. So we have Ready, Set, Go coaching program, we have a Prep for PEP mobile clinic, and we have the CCC training package, which looks at communication and other 21st century skills. So that is now nicely and tightly packaged, something that we didn't have before. So now we're pushing it. We're getting more support from corporate brands who are now booking us for services. We have had just a few international engagements, but with now the branding and the presence that we have with SEBI, we are sure that a lot more regional and international engagements are coming.
Talk to us a little bit about Educators JA. What exactly it is that you guys do?
Well, Educators is an edtech and adventure tour company. We in essence make learning fun by providing people with experiential learning and gamified field trips that are powered by technology. So we are combining exploration with things like playing, technology, exercise, things like that. Yeah.
You are the SOCENT Award winner today for innovation. Talk to us about that.
So I think, as I said, because we combine exploring with the technology, it's not a virtual experience. It's more of people going outside, learning about their country. People are involved at the same time, but the phone is really what's different. Using your phone as a tool. We have an app called Adventures. So people can download this in the App Store. It's not available on iPhones as yet, but the app, in essence, allows you to explore, learn, and have fun.
Talk to us about Educators Jamaica and your involvement with SEBI and how you've grown by being a part of SEBI.
So apart from us making learning fun and giving people tours, our tours, we have a clear social mission, which is not only to educate youth, but to include them. Inclusion means giving tours to students or young people that wouldn't necessarily get a tour. Somebody who's homeless, somebody who's deaf, so we include them. We also employ them. So we have them as creative writers and tour guides. These are youngsters that we train and recruit ourselves, giving them skills that they can use elsewhere or with us. And SEBI is really the organization that discovered the social impact that we are having through our tours. They were the ones who molded us into a social enterprise.
It's their final, their closeout event. What are your thoughts on that?
I'm just happy to be here with people who we consider to be family at this point. We've grown with them. And I'm looking forward to what SAJA will do for not just Jamaica, but the region. I'm looking forward to seeing more people become aware of what a social enterprise is, more people coming into the space, but with innovative ideas, fun ideas, things that they would consider to be their talent and so forth. I'm just looking forward to more people making social impact through business. So it's purpose plus profit. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Every day you wake up, you have another opportunity to make this little island better, safer, a place where we all can be proud to call home. It's time we all recognize that every little thing we do has an impact on the Jamaica we live in now and the country we're leaving for our children. So promise me this, promise yourself this. No more will we tolerate criminals, even if it's our relatives. Tell them they're doing something wrong. Tell them to stop. Tell them no more robbing our children of the Jamaica they deserve. Tell them no more crime.
It's season 12, and Wealth Magazine Business Access is here to keep you business savvy. With an impressive mix of some of Jamaica's most inspiring business moguls, we continue to keep Jamaica informed, empowered, and ready to dominate. Tune in Sundays at 5 p.m. only on BATV.
You're watching
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access. Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
Business current affairs you can relate to. Frank, credible discussion. On point with Kalila Reynolds and Dennis Chung. Dissecting the issues, offering solutions to Jamaica's challenges. On Point, Thursdays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
So we have with us Miss Charmaine Brim of the PIOJ, who is the Public Sector Champion Award right here at the SEBI Awards. Talk to us about that. What is your involvement with SEBI?
JN Foundation actually engaged the PIOJ in 2015 around the premise of the work that they have been doing for the social sector and sharing with us some of the gaps that were in the sector. And one of them was the fact that there was no policy framework to support the sector. So we were actually successful in lobbying the Ministry of Industry, who on the request of the Bank of Jamaica at the time, who wanted a limited review of the MSME and entrepreneurship policy, the PIOJ lobbied MICOF to have some consideration to include discussions around the social enterprise sector. And resulting from that, a new chapter was developed called the Social Value Creation. That's now added to the policy. So that's the big championing of the PIOJ in one way, and the other is that from a programmatic standpoint, the Community Renewal Program is a program within the PIOJ, and the primary goal of that program is to coordinate initiatives towards effective program delivery at the community level, and we target the volatile and vulnerable communities across 5 parishes. One of the key pillars under the Community Renewal Program is socio-economic development. And that includes looking at the strategy that deals with promoting entrepreneurship. So in the context of promoting entrepreneurship and looking for good business models that can advance sustainable development at the community level, then the social enterprise model was a good one for us as well. So it is a model that we have actually adopted, and we have found that the model is a good one. It's a high growth model, and the idea is to continue what SEBI has started. We're going to be very much involved in the conversations with JN Foundation regarding SEJA as well. As you would have heard today, it is intended to be a multi-sectoral approach, right, kind of entity. So the conversation and the work continues.
PSTO Mobility Center is a social enterprise boost initiative that caters for persons with disability, preferably persons with physical disability who use mobility aid products. So we are here to solve that problem for persons with disability.
Talk to us about your involvement with SEBI.
So as an organization, we as established as an organization, and then we see the needs of the disabled community not able to fit in society because of these challenges that comes with the wearing of the chairs or the crutches or the cane, whatever mobility needs there are. And so as an organization who advocate for persons with disability, we ensure that we represent them to the fullest. And so out of that, the Mobility Center was started. And then when SEBI came on board, of course, that was our opportunity to make ourselves visible and to be seen into what we do. So SEBI came with a lot of opportunity for us. It provided us with the skills we need. It provided with some of the tools and equipment that we need, and the retraining areas that we had underlooked or overlooked. So we're happy for the partnership with SEBI. As you know, jobs are hard to get, and can you just imagine for someone with a disability unemployed? May have the skill, but access and other things may deter these business persons to employers. So here we are now with SEBI, creating employment and training for our members. That is a huge benefit within the disabled community when we can recognize our need and solve our needs. Disability is a state of mind. It's not a death sentence, it's a life sentence. So you live with your disability, you don't die with it. That's what I want to tell them. So this is an opportunity for them to get up and accept themselves as a person with a disability. Because you are a person first. And once you know you are a person, there are responsibility that comes with being a person. So you're going to live to your fullest. That's my advice.
A special thank you for tuning in to our coverage of the SEBI Closeout event. And thank you to the JN Foundation, the SEBI Group, and all the awardees today. I've been your host, Amita Pasadweb, and thank you for watching Business Access TV, serious about business.
The business community has suffered tremendously due to extortion. Some have not just lost their businesses, their jobs, but lost their lives. This is extremely impactful to the growth of our country and to the progress of our people. We are our brother's keeper. Let's put a stop to this. No more use of force. No more use of fear. No more extortion. No more.
Sundays at 4:30 p.m. It's all about Home Sweet Home. Get your half-hour dose of the business of real estate, from laws and concepts to reality, building, buying, or renting. Or what about trends in decor or renovations? Home Sweet Home will keep you up to date.
In the words of 1931 Nobel Peace Prize awardee Jane Addams, the good we secure for ourselves is precarious and uncertain until it is secured for all of us and incorporated into our common life. Welcome to Jamaica Magazine. I am Theodore Henry, your virtual guide for today. We have an interesting show lined up just for you, so stay tuned.
This is the Aedes aegypti mosquito that spreads the Zika, chikungunya, and dengue viruses. Search for its breeding sites and destroy them. A message from the Ministry of Health.
Creating job opportunities and investments are some of the tasks given to the Factories Corporation of Jamaica by the Prime Minister. Here to tell us more on Get the Facts is Chairman of the corporation, Littleton Shirley.
Welcome to Get the Facts, the program that provides you with information on government's policies and initiatives. I'm your host, Denthros Campbell. Factories Corporation of Jamaica, the FCJ, is the country's premier provider of industrial real estate. The provision of commercial spaces supports the economic growth agenda to facilitate business investments. And we are joined by FCJ's chairman, Littleton Tanny Shirley, to discuss some of the projects being undertaken by the agency. So welcome to the program.
It's great to have us.
We're happy to have you.
Right.
Let's start by, what does the FCJ do apart from what we said in the intro? I'm sure you have much more to
Well,
tell
you
us.
can say we operate under 4 pillars.
Yes.
Pillar 1 is that we are a landlord, and then we are a property management entity, and then we are an enabler and facilitator for business investment and job opportunities. And then last, we are a developer.
Oh, excellent. Landlord. Nobody like what tell us
Right.
about that.
Well, landlord, the fact that we have over 105 properties under our management.
Yes.
And they spread across 13 parishes in Jamaica. So regardless of what you consider landlord to be, that is really the whole responsibility of ensuring that these properties maximize on their investment, give the right IRR on the investment that has been put in by government, and so that those investments are protected and maintained. And that's what we do.
So how do you choose an area? Tell me about the process in choosing an area to develop.
Well, outside of areas that we have already inherited and is on the books for us to manage, as an entity now that falls under the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, really our task is to look at investment opportunities, where they are, what can facilitate investments that will bring job creation and bring return on our investment. So we are not just there to collect rent, but we are there to ensure that rent are at market rate, that you can bring a good return on your investment. At the same time, facilitating investment, ensuring that persons are able to occupy the space bring the type of environment that allow workers to work in an environment that is friendly, that is facilitate productivity. And the investor is at a location where his business can grow. So in looking at what we do, we have to be thinking through properly where we would invest. And this is a part of a joint approach both by the government and by the investors.
So you're talking about an investor. So you're not talking about properties that are idle and you go develop them and then decide who takes them. How does it work?
Yeah, well, it could be a combination of, depend. For instance, use Morant Bay, for instance, where the government, and this is something that has been spearheaded by the Prime Minister. And I know that comes down the program, but typically you would look at a location and government will decide whether this location needs to be enhanced, what role it play in that particular parish. And then it would trigger off whether it is the right investment to do and how it would facilitate the parish on a whole and what it brings to the parish.
Oh, okay. So you would have to work with some other entities, right?
Sure.
Tell us about that.
Well, we try our best to collaborate with all the entities, whether it is DBJ, whether it is JAMPRO, whether it is UDC that has the overall umbrella for urban development and town development. So we participate, we try to engage to ensure that we get a holistic approach to what we're doing, and it's not just about FCJ, but the impact that we can have on a coordinated approach to what we're doing.
I'm glad you mentioned UDC because I think some people are confusing the roles of FCJ and UDC. Can you make a distinction?
Well, UDC is almost responsible for overarching town development. We are business people, so to speak. We have to see ourselves as business people because we are here to create the environment for business. So we have to understand business and we have to be part of the business. We are here to ensure that people can be employed. So we have to understand the dynamics of where persons are comfortable to be and the type of development you want to engage in, whether it is manufacturing, whether it is BPO processing, whether it is agro-processing. All these things become a part of our discussion and engagement with the various entities. Right. So that when we target a project, it has a beginning and it has an end that is, it bring real return on your investment.
Yes. Can persons come to you? You talked about DBJ just now. I know DBJ lend to small enterprises. Can persons come to you if they have an investment idea and you will walk them through? Or
sure, we are, as I said, we are the great facilitator for investment. Yes. What we don't know, we will decide which agency is the best, and we engage that agents with us and the particular person of interest. But certainly what we do is we give advice. Yes. We look at our properties, we look at the deficiencies of them, we look at where we want to take them, we look at how it can benefit the persons who's occupying the space. And that's, we try to, as I said, be a good listener. Definitely. At the same time, being very proactive with taking us to a different level.
What are some of the projects that have already come on stream?
Oh, we've been working on 5 major projects now, and with the Morant Bay, the Nagahead, the expansion of Garmix, the Boundbrook Center in Port Antonio, and the adjoining Nagahead property that we are going to do a similar complex to what we are doing in Boundbrook and what we're doing at Morant Bay.
Okay, excellent. We continue the conversation on the other side of this break with FCJ's chairman, Littleton Tanny Shirley. Stay with us. Welcome back to Get the Facts. We continue our discussion with FCJ's chairman, Littleton Tanny Shirley, on projects being undertaken by the agency. So let's take the projects one by one. There are 5 major projects, right? Let's start with the first one at Nagahead Technology Park.
Well, Nagahead Technology Park is in the final stage to get rolling. We have done a lot of preparation work. It's going to be the largest technology park to be built out in Jamaica to facilitate the BPO industry. It is anticipated that we will be looking at the employment of some 15 to 20,000 persons with the amount of interest that we have shown from the BPO industry into the technology park.
So this is a brand new building? No, it is an old building or something?
No,
it's a brand new building.
Brand new development with cutting edge to meet the expectation of the BPO industry.
Yes.
You know, when they came, the BPO started getting off the ground, the demand was more than space we had. So a lot of these companies end up in buildings that had to be retrofitted and was not purpose built, and cost the BPO industry a lot of money to invest in retrofitting them.
Yes.
Now that the private sector, along with the government, is now spearheading the facilitation of these BPO companies, we are now more purpose-built, both from the government perspective and from the private sector perspective. And so these buildings are really designed to be the optimum expectation of the facility of the BPO companies.
When do you expect this to be completed?
It's a 2-year construction cost. We're talking about roughly 800,000 square feet of space.
Okay. So 2 years starting 20.
Well, we're hoping to break ground before the end of this year.
Okay, great. Talk to us about the Garmex Free Zone expansion.
Well, the Garmex Free Zone, Garmex, as you know, is under our management now, is the largest industrial complex in the island, with some 545,000 square feet of space. We are 100% occupancy now, and the demand that we are getting on a daily basis. In last year alone, we lost out on almost over 400,000 square feet of space on demand. So that has driven us to now expand our facilities, because we do have green space on the campus.
Oh, I was going to ask, what are you doing with it?
Right, so we are now expanding. We're out for tender for the first phase. Right. And once that starts concurrently, we will start phase 2, which will see us over the next 12 months building out approximately 345,000 square feet.
What's the purpose, though? What is the purpose of that expansion?
To facilitate the various demand for warehousing, agro-processing, manufacturing, which is the nature of our business at Garmex.
Great. So Morant Bay Urban Center is the big thing. Tell me about that.
It is big thing because we feel very excited about it, because we're looking at a parish that the Prime Minister has gone to and recognized the demand for this parish to get off the ground, to really create opportunities that persons believe, and factually so, that there were no opportunities there. A lot of the business there were closed down. We had existing space, which was the Goodyear, which was the center of job employment for many years in Morant Bay.
Right. So what are you going to have in the center?
Oh, well, again, it's going to be like a integrated complex. The whole concept is to merge and fuse government entities with private sector entities. So the Prime Minister, in his wisdom, has mandated through cabinet that all government agencies would be relocated there under a one-stop umbrella to create the efficiencies of government. And that is conceptualized to be a concept that will replicate across other parishes. So we have to make it happen and make it be a success. The fusion of government agents with private sector companies to make it financially viable and to attract the attention in a new urban center that will bring about security, order, good parking, and good investment opportunities, and create the level of awareness amongst the residents that they themselves can become a part of economic new growth and opportunities that we believe and are very confident based off the support and demand that we've been getting for the center will be the new dawn of how.
Right, that's a huge center.
Of course.
So what's the time frame on that one?
Well, we have broken ground. We are doing the preliminary approval now, speaking with the various interest group to be more specific. And then after that, we hope that once we get brick and mortar out of the ground, it will be a 2-year period.
2 years, well.
Right. On a phase basis, the areas will finish before some, of course, and will allow for occupancy.
Yes.
So one of the things that we have been pushing is that as an agent of the government that falls under the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, we want to ensure that not just build, we want to ensure that jobs will be there, but people will be able to take up these jobs, because it's nice to provide jobs, but if you don't have the people in the parish prepared to take on these jobs. So we have been working with Heart Trust NTA. We have been working with all the various agents. Just 3 days ago, we had a town hall meeting over there where the residents
in St. Thomas
to engage about their accessibility and their preparation for jobs.
All right, good. And you're going to Portland as well.
And we are going to Boundbrook.
What are you doing there?
We're doing a similar
town center as you're doing in St. Thomas?
Similar, but on a smaller scale.
A smaller scale.
Because we have less land to work with.
Yes.
But that also will be significant for the parish.
Yes, and you also do property divestment. Tell us about that.
Oh, well, we have been mandated by government to divest of 15% of our non-performing assets. And therefore, we are divesting of some of our properties. They were considered when we took over as non-performing. Now they are performing because we have done significant development on them, bring them back, and the demand now, as the economy grow and demand for space become greater.
Yes.
And we are seeing where most of these empty properties are now fully occupied, which makes the attraction for investment even greater. So we are getting more value for our properties. We are getting more demand.
So this will definitely have some kind of impact on growth.
Oh, definitely.
Talk to us about that.
Yes, well, while it is difficult for us to pinpoint the specific impact it might have on the GDP, we certainly know that we are creating opportunities for jobs. We certainly know that in all expansion that we are doing right now, when you do the summation of all the persons employed on our part, there's over 6,000. And that is operating under 1.7 million square feet. We now will be expanding over another million square feet of space.
Excellent.
So we believe that based off how we are structuring this expansion, we could see another 20,000 persons being employed.
Good job. A very good note to end on.
Sure.
This has been Get the Facts, and our special guest was Chairman Littleton Tanny Shirley of the FCJ. And to watch this program again, log on to our social media handle, YouTube/WatchJIS, and stay connected via our website at jis.gov.jm. Until next time, I'm Anthony Campbell. Walk good.
Women in agriculture continue to showcase their growth and dominance in the industry. Meet one of them, Liz Levy.
I got into farming because my hobby was gardening. I was nuts about plants, flowers. So it was kind of a natural area to look for when I was looking for something to do. I started in an area that didn't have water, so I was not able to irrigate. And with climate change, it made things really, really unpredictable, very risky, and just difficult. So I don't consider myself as having really started farming until I moved into this agro park, where I was able to irrigate and do things in an optimal way.
Amity Hall is approximately 2,400 acres. We have 22 investors, 5 of which are female. The soil is predominantly Sydenham clay, and the crops that do well here, we have the cucurbits. That would include pumpkins, sweet potatoes, zucchini, squash. Also a few tubers do very well, sweet potatoes and cassava. Those crops do very well. We also have a lot of farmers who have gone into the Scotch bonnet pepper and they're also doing very well. Once we manage the water application with the type of soil that we have and give proper nutrition, these crops do very well.
Life has been a learning experience primarily because of the Sydenham clay, but I don't know if that's particular to this park. I think anywhere that you go, you have to learn to work with what you have. So it's been a learning experience, and but one good thing about it is that you see the rewards at the end of the day because you're able to irrigate or fertigate, which is fertilizing through the irrigation system. So you're getting closer. I see myself inching closer and closer to the point where I'll get optimal yields, which is what every farmer wants. Everything that I produce goes to food processors. And the particular processor that I sell to, 90% of their output is exported. So I like to think that I'm a part of that whole chain that is earning foreign exchange for the country. I plant only hot peppers. I'm trying this year to try and stretch myself and learn other things. So I'm hoping on the boundaries I've created little areas where I'm going to do some experimentation. But for now, I'm only doing hot peppers and specifically Scotch bonnet. I've set myself the challenge of trying to master that because of the 2 types that we grow here in Jamaica. That definitely is the most demanding one. So still going up the learning curve. I think the reason why I settled on peppers is because you can sell it. You don't have to scratch your head and wonder where you're going to sell it. Because most of the processors have back orders, export orders. And in fact, we've found ourselves in the situation in Jamaica where processors have to import pepper mash. So you will never ever have a problem selling your product. If you never went to farm school, if you don't really have experience, try to get into a situation where people are readily accessible to give you that encouragement, not just advice, technical advice, but also encouragement, because sometimes you may go through a little period where you feel, wow, is this really worth it? And that support is valuable. But that's one thing. In terms of practical advice, don't go anywhere without water. Just don't go anywhere without water. That's the mistake I made. And the second thing is try to farm reasonably close to where you live. Another mistake that I made, because how often you go to your farm, the hours you put in, it shows. The further away you live, you try and cut corners here and cut corners there, and it will show.
When you come to Amity Hall, there are a few things. There are things here that can help to foster your production. One, we have a team of stakeholders working together to cater to your needs. We have the RADA extension officers, we have the persons from NIC, we have the team from AIC. We also have a group of farmers that are willing to work together to help to move the produce not from the ground to the plate.
These females continue to make their mark in the pool, having won 5 medals at the recently completed Central American and Caribbean Confederation Championship in Barbados. Let's now meet some of the members of our synchronized swim team.
didn't start it here in Jamaica. It was started before me. I think when I came here, it was two clubs. I would say 2 clubs in Kingston. So I started it here in Port Antonio. 10 years ago, it wasn't a team. It was one swimmer only for a couple of years, and then kids started joining more and more. Started joining, and here's a team.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I love synchronized swimming because of the pretty swimsuits. I wanted to show off myself to other countries.
The reason why I'm doing synchronized swimming is because when I was younger, there's not really a lot of sports that was there, and I also love water.
Synchronized swimming is a very unique sport. It's different from everything else, and I like to stand out.
It's a tough experience, it's challenging in many cases. I like the fact that we get to go out a lot. We get to get exposed to different things, different cultures and stuff.
We really don't select the girls. We take everybody who comes and we give them a chance, and then we'll see who stays. Synchronized swimming is not a sport that you can do twice a week for 1 hour. It's a very complicated sport that you have to do as speed swimming. You have to be very good at speed swimming. You have to be very good at gymnastics. You have to do a ballet class sometimes, and of course synchronized swimming actually on land and in a pool. Up there, don't turn, and then you walk out. So the girls practicing 4 times a week, sometimes 5, and depending on the school schedule, of course.
The level of dedication is about, saying 1 to 10, it is about 8. Because it's not a lot of sports there's around that I can do. So doing synchro, it takes a lot of time to think about the things that you're going to do. Have about a duet and a solo. When it comes on to shows, it has about 12 different routines.
It's very hard to balance school and training because most of the times training finishes late-ish at night. So I will have to get home and sometimes study. And so I go to bed late, and it's kind of hard to wake up in the mornings.
This leg is great. This one is synchronized swimming help you with development. It develops you physically and mentally too. I think the best advantage that they get being a swimmers is that they get in confidence. Knowing that you achieved something and you did something that many people cannot do. It gives you confidence and self-respect, and this is what the girls really need.
In the last few years, I've grown to the sports because when I was younger, I had my coach repeatedly saying, "Shall we work? Shall we work? Shall we work?" And I think before I reached about 16 or 15, I think I got better at that because knowing that I'm the oldest in the group, I have to show example.
Usually here I'm making our routines and trying to make sure it fits the personality of the swimmer first and the skill level.
I do a lot of mixing up of routines, especially when it comes to like duets and teams, sometimes solo.
It's all I want to do. It's my life. I would love to be in the 2020 Olympic Games, doing my best, competing, hopefully to get a medal.
Competing at the Olympics will make more Jamaicans know that synchronized swimming is actually in Jamaica.
Thanks for watching another edition of Jamaica Magazine. Join us again tomorrow when we'll do this all over again. Send your feedback on today's show to Jamaica Magazine at jis.gov.jm. Also follow us on our social media pages. That's Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Download our app on your Apple and Android devices, and you can also visit our website at jis.gov.jm for more information. On behalf of the entire production crew, I am Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.
The idea of smart homes, homes that automatically control heating, cooling, lighting, and appliances in homes, has been the stuff of science fiction for decades, but not anymore. Find out how and why on this episode of Home Sweet Home, where we'll feature the JPS Smart House.
I'm Tishura Gibbs, the Regional Director for JPS for Western Jamaica. Smart Home came about as we look to leverage technology in how we serve our customers. We stand behind our vision of leading an energy revolution and our mission of creating an energy solution for every Jamaican. Our customers' expectations are changing. They're now more focused on technology. They're more focused on having control. And so for us, it was really a fusion of energy and technology, really. And our customers, it was a melting pot for energy efficiency, for technology, and for customer control, which is putting the power in the customer's hands. Any great project requires great partnership. The synergy has to be there. JPS wanted a JPS smart home, but we're not in the business of building houses. And so getting the right partner who was a housing developer was critical. And it was easy to choose Wicon for this process. Wicon is a developer who focuses on giving customers affordable yet beautiful, stylish homes. And it was just really easy to choose Wicon as the partner because they cross all the demographics and they have homes for everybody. And so that partnership was quite seamless. Working with Aisha Campbell and her team at Wicon was one of the best decisions we've made on this housing project. Also, we had ATL who came on board. Now, if we're talking about smart home, the first thing we want to consider is energy efficiency. There's no point in putting a smart home that has inefficient appliances in it. And so we worked with a company, ATL, that focuses on energy efficiency in their appliances. And that really worked for us. Then the platform, the technological platform on which the system operates was also critical to the success of the system. It was important to choose a partner who knew what they were doing, had expertise and experience in the business, and one that could offer security, because a big part of the smart home is security. And so it was really easy to choose G-Network Solutions to work with us. And then once we had our appliances in and we had the platform in place, we wanted to make sure that everything inside, the look, the feel of the unit, had something of luxury and class and style, but then at the same time there was security, there was safety, there was energy efficiency, and there was optimum use of technology. And so it was easy to choose blind concepts. They were able to tailor blinds to fit the unit that we chose for this project. That's what we do.
So we're now joined by Rashid Anderson, Project Manager for the JPS Smart House. Thanks for joining us, Rashid. So I understand that you are the brains behind the technology of the home. Talk to us about the JPS Smart Home.
Let me first begin by saying what we envision at JPS. We are the people leading the energy revolution, unleashing Jamaica's growth and prosperity. And being cognizant of that, we recognize our role that we have to play in the national agenda. So we recognize how important it is for JPS to deliver more energy efficient solutions. So the whole concept behind the smart home is saying, hey, this is an area that we want to deliver an energy efficient solution. And we utilize this opportunity to say, here it is that we have a home that you can eliminate energy waste, you can enhance safety and security, and you can actually generate the energy that you consume. So that was the whole pitch behind the smart home. The smart home is part and parcel of a broader picture. We're actually looking forward to a smart city. We had a visioning session in around 2015, and we created a roadmap, a 5-year plan. And in this 5-year planning, we saw it necessary for us to improve or build on what we call our smart grid. And the whole concept of smart grid encompasses smart city, smart homes, smart vehicles. So that is pretty much, I would say, the genesis or the timeline in which we really started conceptualizing it.
So how does the home work? How does it?
What we do with this home is that it allows you to control all your electrical appliances with the use of a cell phone, tablet, or your computer, right? So here it is that you can be at work and you have your home and you're about to leave office and you want to turn on your air conditioned units, set the mood just right, turning on a particular music, your favorite song, and turn on the lights. So you can actually do it right here in the office on your cell phone, and when you reach home, you'll have that preset for you. Say for example, you left home, and this is an important feature. You left home and you had your iron or your flat iron plugged in. You are able to use your cell phone and connect to the devices and actually turn them off. So you have an all-off feature that you can just press one button and all the devices within the home will turn off.
Oh wow!
So
that's
and then
helpful.
It also has a feature for convenience and entertainment. So of course you can set different music for different rooms that you're in. You can set the lighting to come off or on whenever you enter or leave the room. Also, safety and security is important. So a part of the whole pitch for the home is, if you're at home, you can arm your home using your cell phone, or if you're not at home as well. And once there is an intrusion, whether through window or door or wherever, it will be able to detect, it will be able to send you an alert, email, text. It'll also be able to call the local police station, send off an audible alarm, send off a visual alarm, and the works.
Now you mentioned that the home is controlled from your phone. How does it connect to the phone? Is there an app, and are there any other devices that we can use to control it?
How it essentially works is that you have a brain or a computer within the home that controls all the different appliances. And then from that brain or computer, you can connect via the internet to your smartphone and control it through the use of the phone. So the phone pretty much will replicate what the computer will do at home in terms of controlling the devices. So for the smart features within your home, you can range anywhere between little over $1 million Jamaican dollars up to $5 million. We would have spent close to $5 million on retrofitting this home simply because we wanted to showcase everything that's possible. Right. So we have lighting, convenience, controlling your irrigation, electric charging station, humidity sensors, rain sensors. We went all out to showcase what is possible for the home. Mm-hmm. But it really depends on you and your taste.
What you would need.
Right.
Right, okay.
Don't go anywhere. Home Sweet Home will be right back.
Do you want more experience from your SUV? Introducing the 2020 Nissan X-Trail with leading-edge technology, intelligent ride and chassis control, a round view monitor, and hill start assist for confidence behind the wheel. Plus, auto headlights and panoramic sunroof. Drive the SUV with more experience. The Nissan X-Trail, available today at Fidelity Motors.
Business current affairs you can relate to. Frank, credible discussion. On point with Kalila Reynolds and Dennis Chung. Dissecting the issues, offering solutions to Jamaica's challenges. On Point, Thursdays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Have you seen it? It's BATV Live. Live streams of business news weekdays at 7:30 p.m. Stay on point Thursdays at 8 p.m. with our Business Current Affairs show and Weekend Business Report Saturdays at 7:30 p.m. wherever you are. Log on to our Facebook page at Business Access TV or visit our website at batvja.com. Live and at your fingertips. Business Access TV. Serious about business.
Welcome back to Home Sweet Home.
So you've told us all about the smart home. Now it's time for us to see it. So we'll be taking a short trip to...
The smart home is actually in Meadows of Irwin, which is not too far from here. And yes, definitely we'll be showing you what the smart home is all about.
Yeah, so we'll be talking some more about it. Let's go.
All right, so we have entered our home and it recognizes that we are here. It actually gives you an acknowledgement, it's a welcome home, which is programmable. We also have the LED strip at the kitchen just to give a nice little ambient feel. And of course, just for your own convenience, we turn on the AC at 24 degrees Celsius, just how you like it upon entering your home. So all these stuff, they're programmable. You can configure when you want the light to come on, how you want the light to come on. If you step into a room, you want the light to come on or come off. You can put timers on it. You can preset the air conditioner to whatever temperature you want, so that as you come in, you feel that you are in a smart home. All right, so I'm going to introduce you now to the interface that we have. It's very user-friendly, very easy. And once we go on our home, we can scroll through different categories, or we can look at the different rooms. So for example, if you want to go in the kitchen, for example, and turn off our lights, we can turn on and off our lights. Turn on our TV and at the same time.
And there's the TV coming on.
Right. All right, let's just turn on the music and continue in the kitchen. Let us showcase what else we have. Again, we're all about safety and convenience.
Right.
So right where we have our laundry area, we actually install what is called a water leak detector. So if there happens to be any leak, then we'll get an alert on our phones and tell us that we actually have a leak. Additionally, we have the smoke detector. So if for any reason we have a fire or blaze and the smoke detector goes off, again, it sends an audible alarm and also sends you a message, sends you a text. You can call the fire department as well.
Okay.
First of all, we want to arm our system, ensure that we are secure. So we have officially armed our system, right?
Just from your phone,
just from your phone, we have armed our system. Right? So what we'll do now is to simulate what would happen if it is that somebody was to break in. So we're going to walk over to our window.
I'm gonna break in.
And break in.
Is this open or is this, oh, I locked it.
All right, so notice that we got an alarm on our phone. There's an audible alarm that comes off as well. Disarm it. And in addition to that, there's actually program to call, you can actually have it call.
Okay, and that's immediate.
And that is immediate as well.
Okay.
2017, 15 hours, 21 minutes and 50 seconds. Living room // monitoring. Window C3 contact.
Window.
So
okay.
it actually gives you
the
exactly
detail where
what contact actually opens. So you know exactly what time and which window or door, actually opened.
Was affected. That's very, very good.
All right, so now we're going to take a look in the master bedroom to show you some of the features inside there as well.
And these are the speakers built in here that we're activating, turning on and off. Okay.
So we can go now, we can actually nice
softer music in here for the bedroom if we'd like.
Inside.
Okay.
We got our lighting and plugs. In the master bedroom, we have a plug that we can turn on the lights.
Nice.
We can also turn them off. Again, we have the blinds that we can control from our phone.
Oh, really?
Which we can activate and turn on and off. Those are the features that we have inside the bedroom right now.
We are now joined by Mr. Gary Hill. He's the owner and director of G Network Solutions, one of the partners on the JPS Smart Home. Thanks for joining us, Gary. So talk to me about G Network Solutions and what it's about.
Okay, G Network Solutions is a company based on providing IT solutions, security solutions. Anything you talk about networking, that's G Network Solutions. We started in 2009. We are based in Toronto, Canada. And now we are here in Jamaica. We do security cameras as one of our main services for commercial and both residential. And with the smart home automation system that we're now just embarking on, it is one of our more important projects because we are now informing Jamaica of what they can have if we go the route of technology, utilizing technology to its fullest. Specifically, what we did with this home was make it smart.
Right.
All right. The technology that we use, the company that we use, is what is called Locks Own System. It's originated out of Austria, and it's a whole home aspect of smart home automation. Now, if you look on the market, there are a lot of smart home automations that are out there, but they are only piece and parcels. What we offer is a whole home solutions. Anything you can think of, we can make it smart. There are 3 stages to smart home automation. One is that it is easily automated. So For example, your lights, your AC, your television, anything audio-visual can be automated. And this is all controlled through any mobile device, which is your phone, tablet, or even your computer as well. Other than that, you have aspects of the home that are intelligent automation. For example, your motion sensors. So if you walk in the room, your music can actually turn on, your AC can actually be activated. So that's a part of the intelligent automation that we talk about.
Are there varying challenges for a new or existing home when implementing these things?
Yes, there are, but there's one positive to the Luxon Smart Home system is that it provides what is called future build. Future build are existing homes that persons want to install infrastructure.
Right.
So for a new home, yes, it is much easier because then we can do all the wiring that is necessary to ensure that the person's home is smart as how they like it. For the future home, the one that's an existing build, we use more of wireless technology coupled with a few wire technology. And that is how we are able to still make the home smart. So there's the limitations are there, but nonetheless, the system facilitates that type of expansion, whether it be a new build or an existing build.
Now, you guys went all out on this home because I see it has literally almost everything automated.
Yes. Security, that's everyone's first priority.
Right.
So all your windows, all your doors would be secure. And in that we do implement security cameras because the system is able to integrate with certain security cameras. So you are able to manage and see around the peripherals of your home and within your home, as well as you're able to secure your windows and your doors as well. So the security aspect of it,
that's definitely that's a must.
That's the must package that we speak about.
Okay. Okay, well, Gary, thank you very much for joining us and talking to us about the security solutions and the technology solutions inside the smart home.
You're welcome.
Thanks. More Home Sweet Home when we return.
The Good Life, your trusted source for useful health and wellness information, lifestyle tips for the mind, body, and soul. Tune in Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Caring Hands Season 3 continues to effect change in a changing environment.
Many of us were raised by grandmothers, right? So, I mean, we know the wisdom that these people have.
Going beyond business.
The little leaders of today are our leaders of tomorrow. And with the proper education, we'll have very good leadership coming from that.
That's Season 3 of Caring Hands, creating change and shaping lives, every Sunday at 5:30 p.m. on Business Access TV. Welcome back to Home Sweet Home.
Right now we have installed a sprinkler system actually in the front yard here. So again, there is a sticker that is pre-programmed to turn on the sprinklers. Okay. So I can actually put my phone against. There we go.
And there we have it.
So here we have our EV charging port where you can actually plug into your electric vehicle and charge it. You can actually turn this on and off through the app, as well as monitor what is the energy being consumed by your vehicle.
So are people excited about this smart home concept?
Definitely. In fact, the amount of phone calls I would have gotten since the actual launch till now would have been overwhelming. A lot of persons are asking for what is the next step, where are we going, how is it going to be rolled out, what is the cost. So the interest is definitely there.
And do you foresee any challenges with the commercialization of this type of thing?
Well, one of the main concerns interested customers would have is the fact that we're using technology now and they're asking about the threat of cyber security, hackers, stuff like that.
Right.
And one thing that we have been diligent about is to ensure that all of the automated features have a manual override,
Right.
a manual backup.
I was
In
gonna
addition
ask.
to that, we also have ensured that the products that we use would have been certified to industry standards and benchmarked to first class, what we'd expect for security.
And you touched on it, but I was going to ask, you know, in the event of a hurricane, if we don't have current or whatever it is there a key? Is there a AC remote? You know, just making sure that we
Yes,
have all these
yes.
things and we can operate.
Yeah, definitely.
Still.
So all the manual modes of operation still exist.
Stand, okay.
Right, so if for any reason that you're not able to connect,
Right.
Then you
We
can
can
always use
still
the manual.
go back to the regular way. Okay. What would you say is the biggest selling point of the smart homes, and how would you position it in Jamaica based on, you know, our economy and the situation here?
We would have spent close to $5 million on retrofitting this home simply because we wanted to showcase everything that's possible. We recognize that the appetite of customers, they want more control.
Mm-hmm.
They want to be in control of their power, their usage, everything. And I would say the biggest selling point is really giving them that control to manage their energy, manage their appliances remotely, whether at home, and also give them the flexibility, the convenience while doing it. So a big plus for this type of home is that it eliminates waste, energy waste, and you're able to really manage and monitor the energy that you use. So that would, for me, be the biggest selling point.
And if it is that I use my cell phone, which happens very frequently to us young people, you mentioned that there were manual ways. Is there any other way to get into the house?
Right, there is. So because the app can be installed not just on your cell phone, you can put it on your laptop or a tablet, and it is password protected and encrypted. So if it is stolen, then somebody, even if they have password access to your phone, would need another layer of access to get into the application that controls the device.
The security and all of that. Right?
And also, you can change this remotely from an alternate device. In addition to that, we have technical support. So when all else fails, you can call our technical support and we will guide you through changing passwords or setting it up on another device.
Okay. Is there any maintenance that's required for the smart home?
Well, currently how we design the smart home is really a plug and play. So the maintenance is minimal. What I would say as maintenance would be if you need to replace a battery in any of the sensors or contacts.
Right.
And because the home is smart, it will actually alert you when the battery level is low.
Okay.
But that's the most maintenance right now that we envision.
Well, Rashid, thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Home Sweet Home and telling us all about the JPS Smart Home. I'm interested and I definitely learned a lot.
Thank you, Candy, for allowing me to showcase what is possible in terms of the future for homes. And I really do hope that in the very near future you will be owning your very own smart
Definitely.
home.
Thank you.
Our women are the backbone of our society. They deserve to be protected and respected. Domestic violence is not okay. Speak up and speak out. No more violence against women.
You're watching Business Access TV.
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access.
You are watching Business Access TV.
Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
Serious about business.
It's the last PSOJ President's Breakfast Forum for 2018, and Business Access TV, as usual, is here to bring you the highlights. I'm Javon Keys. Stay tuned.
Mr. Mitchell, so tell us about the theme for this morning's breakfast.
The theme for this morning's session is citizen security as a tool for effective crime management. It is intended to raise the awareness of what citizen security is, and shortly, citizen security is the level of confidence that the average citizen feels in his community and how he feels about his ability to move around in his environment, and what structures the government, the state can place around the community to increase that level of confidence. How the police force and the security forces behave is critical to citizen security. So we're trying to raise the awareness of the population on citizen security and to make people realize that hard policing alone is not enough, that you have to raise the confidence of the citizens in what you are doing.
So how important is it for businesses generally to be concerned about citizen security?
Well, I think it's very important that the level of investor confidence and the level of the business community's confidence is raised in that their stakeholders can come to work, their employees can come to work, that they can move freely around in the community, and that they will have certainty of operations generally in the society at large.
And for businesses out there considering being a part of the PSOJ, what are the benefits?
I think the benefits of the PSOJ are, among other things, that you get a platform to express your concerns, to express your interests. You get information. We have a monthly economic bulletin. You get President's Fora like this. And you also get to find out what's going on in the society that you operate in. Then we have networking. We have mingles on a quarterly basis, so you do have networking with other members and with important influencers in the society.
So firstly, tell us a bit about what First Rock Capital does.
It's really a real estate investment holding company which has as its core focus real estate investments and private equity.
So how important is a company like that now in this day and age?
Well, truthfully, real estate represents the most finite investment asset. And what it offers is above average returns and stability with respect to capital.
So this morning you're going to be inducted in the PSOJ. How does that feel?
Excellent. You know, the PSOJ's mandate is a very solid one. And, you know, the PSOJ has been doing a lot of work with respect to, you know, championing and being an advocate for businesses and just the private sector in general. And what better way to express our support than to be a member?
So we're zoning in a little bit on the discussion this morning. It's about citizen security. How does your company play a role in that, or does that affect your company any at all, do you think?
I mean, security continues to be a main issue and at the forefront as well of all major businesses and individuals as well. So anything that we can do to enforce or reinforce the importance of it, then it has our support.
Citizen security, in every sense, has become a vital part of effective crime management. And as we all know, the crime that currently pervades Jamaica negatively impacts human development, it affects our economic development, it touches our social and cultural rights at the local, regional, and international levels. We know this, that when a country fails to protect its people from crime and violence, it leads to a breakdown in the relationship between those in power and those who are being governed. Therefore, we have to ensure that the correct checks and balances are made to foster that relationship by creating the required community action plans, better citizen police arrangements, and having an overall coordinated system of crime control and crime prevention. We've seen the implementation of the states of emergency. We've also seen a number of zones of special operations being declared across several communities in the country in a bid to really put a cap on the criminal acts taking place in those areas. We've seen some positive results, certainly when it concerns St. James and the murder figures trending positively downwards. And we've also seen where acts of violence in general has trended down in these areas. What more can we do? We will explore all of that this morning. But we'll also talk about whether these approaches are indeed effective and how much more can be done in this area. Moving right into the rest of the proceedings, ladies and gentlemen, I now invite Mr. Howard Mitchell, President of the PSOJ, to deliver opening remarks.
The subject that we are going to discuss this morning is a critical but not a well understood one, I think, in this society. I think that it is fitting for the PSOJ to end the year with the same topic that we started the year with, which is the issue of crime. The issue that has plagued us every year for more than the last 30-odd years, that has become endemic, that has been written into the fabric of our culture, that children have grown up with, that women have had to learn to live with, that businesses have had to write in permanently into their balance sheet protective devices for their stakeholders. I think it is so important that we remove the callous protective indifference that we have developed towards crime and face it in its stark terms and understand its motivation, its structures, and how to minimize it. You will never rid a society completely of crime, but you can reduce its impact and the terrible consequences on your people. So that I think we want to raise the level of awareness of citizen security in Jamaica, because if we are going to move from growth to development, then we need to understand that our human resources, our citizens, the people of our nation, are the most critical component of that development. And you can have growth. You can, in fact, have growth that mitigates against development by increasing marginalization of a society and sowing the seeds for its eventual destruction. So we need to be mindful, and we need to start planning for that.
Don't go anywhere. We'll have more from the final PSOJ President's Breakfast Forum for 2018 after this break.
We are back with another exciting, innovative, and inspiring season.
It takes a lot of stick-to-itiveness, being consistent and persistent in whatever you're doing. That's the bottom line.
Business exists to add value to people's lives. And if we're not doing that, might as well we knock down the store and just call it a day.
It's a season 3 of Creating Wealth, Mondays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
The business community has suffered tremendously due to extortion. Some have not just lost their businesses, their jobs, but lost their lives. This is extremely impactful to the growth of our country and to the progress of our people. We are our brother's keeper. Let's put a stop to this. No more use of force. No more use of fear. No more extortion. No more.
Thanks for staying with us. If you're just joining us, you're tuned in to BATV's coverage of the final President's Breakfast Forum for 2018. Let's head to the stage.
I now invite our President, Mr. Howard Mitchell, to make his way to the podium to present the certificates to our new members. So, our first inductee today has joined us as an individual member. Please join me in welcoming Nadine Burrows-Siaga. Nadine has managed Island Broadcasting Services Limited, better known as KLAS-FM. She has also worked with National Supply Company Limited, Stewart's Auto, Silver Star Motors, T-Tech Limited, and Prime Sports. 876 on the go. One of our new corporate members to allow commuters to book cabs and make payments online, making transportation more secure for passengers and also for drivers. Bumblebee Digital Agency, specializing in targeted Wi-Fi advertising, digital marketing, social media management, and integrated marketing campaigns. The company has been reinventing how regional partners connect with their audience through its team of professionals and innovative concepts. First Rock Capital Holdings, an easily understood business model. By owning and managing properties that generate income, developing these properties and selling them for financial gain. Green Solutions International is a regional company created to advance energy and environmental sustainability throughout the Caribbean, with the goal of enabling energy-sufficient communities. Green Solutions International, welcome to the PSOJ. Mico University College. Joining us as a corporate member, Mico University College is the oldest teaching institution in the Western Hemisphere and continues to produce graduates who are critical thinkers and prepared to make an impact locally, regionally, and internationally. The Regis franchise is another corporate member being inducted this morning. Consistently providing client solutions, they deliver 100% managed and maintained workspaces as they continue to build their global footprint. Trend Media, they've successfully transitioned from being an online content provider to a full-service digital media house. One of its flagship e-publications, Loop News, is now identified as a credible local news provider. Let me once again congratulate all our inductees collectively.
To our panelists, thank you so much for joining us on a very important topic, one that certainly has dominated the news cycle and the national conversation where it concerns this issue of crime, but more so, citizen security. I want to thank you and we look forward to your inputs this morning. I want to start off with you, Mark Shields. What does it really take to deliver citizen security?
Citizen security, as far as I'm concerned, starts with some very basics that are important to all of us that live, work, come to Jamaica as visitors. I delivered a speech a month ago at the CIN lecture in New York, and I started the point by saying two things. One is, I've been in Jamaica for 15 years, and in 15 years, 20,000 people have been murdered, which seems an awful lot of people to me, and that's 20,000 people murdered, plus thousands and thousands of families, the victims, the untold victims of people who have lost their husbands, wives, sons, daughters, cousins, aunties. So there's all of that group there, 20,000 people murdered. That's a stark statistic. And then we get back to living in Jamaica as it is today. And I have real concerns that before we get on to the technical side of community intervention and real building communities, that we're not doing the basics. It seems acceptable that traders in downtown Kingston can just take over the pedestrian footway. They can hang their garments in front of other shops. It's at a situation where many people who would like to go downtown dare not go downtown because they're in fear. It is also that when I drive to Montego Bay, and as a friend of mine just wrote to me yesterday, he said he is more fearful of driving to Montego Bay than years of gunmen in Denham Town and elsewhere. Because as you know, because you guys do it as well, every time you drive to Montego Bay, you take your life in your hands because you see the bad standard of driving. And that is a real threat, and life should not be like that.
Yeah.
The third point I make is something that I've been, let's say, tweeting about over the past couple of months, and it perhaps became even more ironic last week into this week, that, again, the basics. If you look at the so-called licensed taxis in this country, where there are very clear rules and regulations that say that the windows must not be tinted, that there shouldn't be any markings on those taxis, that they should abide by the law like the rest of us, obeying red lights, not cutting up on the outside, all of that stuff that you guys live with every single day of your lives and causes you all stress. And I believe that we have to start by dealing with that. Now, people say, well, how do you do it? I'll take the last one first. There should be a war on licensed taxi drivers and unlicensed taxi drivers. It should be not just the police responsibility, because we always take that short-sighted view, well, the police aren't doing their job properly, but there's a transport authority. There appears to be a very vocal representatives for taxi drivers who came out last week because they were upset about the amended Road Traffic Act, which of course is a good thing and is designed to actually bring us into line. So I feel that we can do a lot. We should be able to live in a normal society, and that means before we get to anything technical, we need to get those basics right. Not rely just on the police, but just take taxis as an example. There is no reason at all why the Transport Authority, the Jamaica Constabulary Force, the local authorities, those who represent the taxi drivers cannot get together and clear it up overnight, make it safe for us. We're lucky, most of the people in this room, I bet, drive their own cars to and from work. We don't have to put up with some of the terrible situations that other people crammed into taxis and buses have to. So I think we also have a duty to them to try to improve things.
We are up on another break, but please stay with us. We'll be right back.
Ready for cable for as little as $100? Ready for no monthly cable bill? Ready for 10 TV channels absolutely free? Then pick up our Ready TV box at authorized stores for $4,500. Hook it up to your TV set, then top it up with Ready Credit for 1, 7, or 30 days. Buy now and get $1,000 free Ready Credit and start watching your favorite shows. Pick it up, hook it up, top it up. Ready TV. Prepaid cable TV when you're ready. Now serving Kingston and St. Catherine. Limited time offer while stocks last. Conditions apply.
The Good Life, your trusted source for useful health and wellness information, lifestyle tips for the mind, body, and soul. Tune in Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
They say it takes a village to raise a child, but the world will one day need the leadership of that child. The time you spend with your child matters. It stimulates their minds and shapes the way they act. Talk with your children. Help them to better understand the world around them and to value what is truly precious. Above all, the most valuable gift you can give them is love. Play, talk, teach, love. Take the time. It makes all the difference. A message from the Parenting Helpline and Ad Council Jamaica.
Thanks for staying with us. Here are more highlights.
From where you sit, Mark Shields speaks much towards institutional strengthening. But I want to put to you the citizen having a responsibility as well, and how the citizen carries out that duty within the democracy. Do you see Jamaicans stepping up to call for the kind of order that Mark Shields is advocating for, or are we merely bystanders?
Let me say, if I use the PSOJ and its president as an example, we would say that we're not standing up. In February of this year, the president called rightly for an oversight committee to deal with crime and violence. Now it is November, and we have not seen it. how many citizens, how many civil groups have supported that call is really inadequate.
We heard an announcement from the Prime Minister yesterday in New York saying that he's going to be setting up a commission on crime early in 2019.
Yeah, I heard it before that it was going to set up a summit.
Yes, we heard about the summit too.
Yeah, so it's not new. What I said on Sunday at a congregation in St. Thomas, and Mark Shields was mentioning 20,000 killed since he has been here. And I've been here a little longer than him. I said that if any year 500 persons were killed who are the brightest and best, influential leaders, we would find the resources and the time to make significant changes. In other words, because it's not affecting us so much, I live in a gated community. Some people have protective services, but anytime it starts to affect us greatly, we will do more.
This is where I'd love to bring you in, Richard Divins, because the question is, how much of a rights-based approach do we take in dealing with citizen security?
Well, this is something that the government has been starting doing in the last years, at least for a program that we have been supporting, which is the Poverty Reduction Program. And in a certain way, the fact that we are supporting the social inclusion of areas of here in Kingston and other areas in Jamaica, the fact that we are trying to promote a better economy in those areas, we are trying to promote the safety, the social cohesion. This is something which is very much related in improving the security in those areas. And in this respect, it is very important. It's very important when the government, or together with international donors, we are supporting the design of a citizen security program in the social aspect of the citizen security, the participation of the communities in the decision-making of the activities, of the project, of the initiatives is crucial. Without the participation of the civil society, without the participation of the community, it's impossible to take ownership. We need the commitment of the people.
The question is, what are they committing to, especially when they already think that it's a sort of a one-man against the world situation, the rest of the society is against them. They're ensconced in their own, enclaves, so to speak, thinking that they abide and apply their own rules. Here comes now social intervention, trying to change all of that. But how much will social intervention be influential to the process? What else is needed?
Social intervention will contribute a great deal. It has been contributing and it will continue to contribute. But by itself, of course, social intervention will not do everything. You speak of citizen security as effective crime management. Citizen Security and Justice Program is out of the Ministry of National Security, but it has a component that deals with the Ministry of Justice. When we look at social development, we have to speak of citizen security, yes, but we have to speak of justice. We have to speak of rights. As you know, Peter Tosh had said, he wants equal rights and justice. Don't give me no peace, I want equal rights and justice. And unless citizens see themselves as owning or owning a process of development, of inclusion, they will not feel as if, yes, it is for their benefit. Our experience has shown, and I'm sure JCIF and other agencies have shown, that residents of vulnerable communities wholeheartedly support and embrace social interventions when they are a part of the process. We deal with crime prevention. As you know, crime and violence is multifaceted. It has many different actors, many different players, many different sectors. We do not treat with crime control or crime suppression, which we see as the work of the security forces. We think that crime prevention is critical to the development of Jamaica, to treating with crime and violence. And crime prevention starts before a child is born.
Yes.
And it goes way on into adulthood. We have not yet, and the chairman spoke about it, recognized fully the importance or the knowledge. We do not know how important crime prevention is, in that we have to treat with it in a sustained, multifaceted manner. In a nutshell, no ministry should get a budget passed each fiscal year without showing the country where in that budget is the allocation for activities to treat with crime prevention. Because it is so multifaceted, it touches on every sector. Every sector has a role to play. And let me repeat, no budget should be approved unless we can see where that sector, what that sector is doing. We welcome the idea of an oversight or a commission, because what we have observed is that the lack of collaboration among the sectors is one of the handicaps. It is something which causes waste, inefficiency, lack of adequate outcomes. And until the government can have a robust, very robust mechanism, institutional arrangement to ensure that there's collaboration between education, health, national security, all of these sectors working in their own way, but at the same time, designing together, implementing together, evaluating together. Until we get that, we will be groping in the dark to a large extent.
And that's it for coverage of the final PSOJ President's Breakfast Forum for 2018. I'm Javon Keys for Business Access TV, serious about business.
Every day you wake up, you have another opportunity to make this little island better, safer, a place where we all can be proud to call home. It's time we all recognize that every little thing we do has an impact on the Jamaica we live in now and the country we're leaving for our children. So promise me this, promise yourself this: no more will we tolerate criminals, even if it's our relatives. Tell them they're doing something wrong. Tell them to stop. Tell them no more robbing our children of the Jamaica they deserve. Tell them no more crime.
It's season 12, and Wealth Magazine Business Access is here to keep you business savvy. With an impressive mix of some of Jamaica's most inspiring business moguls, we continue to keep Jamaica informed, empowered, and ready to dominate. Tune in Sundays at 5 p.m. only on BATV.
You're watching
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access. Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
My name is Marcia Forbes, and I'm the Executive Chairperson of Phase 3 Productions Limited. Who is Marcia Forbes. I'm a media specialist. I am a senior adjunct lecturer at the University of the West Indies, and I am a mother, a grandmother, a mentor, and just a gregarious woman. I was born in Kingston, and the deal that my paternal aunt made with my father is that she would care for me as if I were her own. And so by the age of about 3, I went to live with my paternal aunt, who was a head teacher in Irish Town. I grew up on the Craigton property, coffee plantation now. I went to St. Mark's Church, Anglican Church, was confirmed, taught Sunday school, sang on the choir, and went to my aunt's all-age school until I passed the common entrance for my first choice, which was St. Hugh's High School. And then my cousin, who passed her exam but not to get through to not to St. Hugh's, she got through for Queen's and couldn't get into St. Hugh's. So they moved me, when I was about to start 3rd form, they moved me from St. Hugh's to Queen's because my uncle-in-law really, he was a financial controller of the leading milk company in Jamaica at the time, Cremo, that did ice cream and milk and everything. And so for uncle to drop me at St. Hugh's and to drop my cousin Elaine at Queen's would have been way too much after coming down from Irish Town Hills. And so I started at Queen's in 3rd form and did 3rd to 6th form at Queen's. I do remember that I was very feisty. In Jamaica, we will say feisty. I was very good at back-chatting. So my uncle, who was full Chinese, he would get very angry and his hair would stand straight on his head, but that didn't affect me at all. I would be rude just the same. And so I just thought I was a normal girl growing up and not paying as close attention to schoolwork as I should or could, because I met my husband of almost 40 years who passed some months ago. I met him when I just turned 17. I was in lower 6th form at Queen's, and I met him on my very first summer job. And from that day hence, it became a time of planning my wedding. Of course, I wasn't married until some years later, but upper 6th form was spent daydreaming about what this wedding would be. And so my A-level subjects were very promptly passed at O-level standard. I didn't know whether he was the one or not, because when I first met him, he was quite chubby, and I told my older sister that, you know, this fat fellow liked me, and I just laughed the whole thing off. But his side of the story was always that I was besotted the moment I met him. That was a male ego, because I really wasn't. But he was a charmer, and he would pick me up at school, and all the parents would kind of look like, okay then, because he was almost 10 years my senior. But you know, Richard was very gregarious, very warm and bubbly, and I guess by that time I was becoming more serious and trying to take my schoolwork a little bit more serious. For him, he thought the world spun around nurses. He thought that every day that the sun rose, it rose on a nurse. And every day that the sun set, it would set on a nurse. And so at 17, it was like, well, you know, what's this thing with nurses? I can do that. And I went into nursing as a teenager entirely because of Richard. And my aunt was not exactly happy, but I'm a very stubborn and determined person. I remember my first medical surgical book, Sorenson. I have it to this day. Richard gave it to me. It was very expensive in those times, and he has a big heart in it, and his initials RHD. And so he persuaded me that nursing was a good and honorable profession to enter. I did extremely well in nursing. I graduated top of the class in nearly everything I did in nursing, and I'm a qualified registered general nurse. I'm a qualified midwife. I'm a qualified critical care nurse. I'm a qualified nurse educator. And I also was a ward sister in charge of a ward in my 20s. In those days, it was unheard of because people would come to the ward and say, "May I speak to Sister Forbes?" And they'd be looking at me in my big red belt, because in those days the sisters wore a red belt with a nice silver buckle. And I'd be in my big cap with the lace all around, because the sisters wore caps with lace, different types of lace. And I would say, "I'm Sister Forbes," and they'd look at me like, "No, you're not. You're a little girl." And that went on. And eventually, when we formed Phase 3, initially as a business name. So Phase 3, don't ask me why Phase 3, because I'm going to tell you a story that is going to be just all made up. Over the years, we have made up a story about, the different stages of life and why it became Phase 3. But I actually left nursing not because I wanted to, but because we now had formed the company, a limited liability company, and we're moving out of the home where we started Phase 3 into proper offices. And I wanted to get 3 months leave to set up the business and sort it out. And I was not granted the leave, and so I left. I think people who know me know that, if I set myself on a path, I'm not going to let what I call minor impediments get in the way. And so I resigned. I paid back my bond because I had just finished my nursing education training as a nurse educator. I paid that back in full, and I pretty much took the helm at Phase 3, because in those days we were right on Osborne Road. Mutual Life had opened a warehouse complex there, and that is where we started officially in a proper office setting. And I was everything: the general manager, the props person. I remember when we did the series Claffey, comedy series with Valerie Johnson and Blacker Ellis and a number of Jamaica's leading stars in those days. I remember I was doing the hair, I was doing the wardrobe. All my clothes that I didn't want to wear became used on that comedy series. And Phase 3, pretty much, I tell people that I've never known what it is like to feel that the company is struggling. From the day, I think because we saw a need, and that need, we filled that need. Paddy, Richard, if you hear me say Paddy, that's Richard. He couldn't remember people's names, so he'd call them Paddy. And in return, everybody called him Paddy. So Paddy felt that video production had just come to Jamaica in the early 1980s. And he was a techie. He was an original techie before the time of computer. And so Richard, he wasn't a trained engineer. His brother, his older brother Lincoln, is actually a trained engineer, but Richard was a bush doctor engineer. You couldn't fool him with circuitry or getting anything done electronically. And so he was a customs officer, and in those days, he was one of the youngest ones for his grade at the time. And he got into video as a hobby, and I would keep the books. And we also had video rental. We set up a video rental company. And again, I was in charge of renting the tapes and keeping the books, and that went very well. At first, I had my full-time job as a nurse. He had his full-time job as a customs officer. When Delano, our son, came, very early in Delano's life, we thought, well, this could really become a proper business. And they were transferring Richard out of town. And remember I told you I'm feisty? And I said, Richard, by this time we had 3 television programs on JBC TV every week. And I said, Richard, we can make a go of this. We can really have a proper business. And so having set up my lawyer friend, Angela Robertson, she had created this limited liability company, and then we employed accountants. Mr. Victor Hamilton, he passed, and we started phase 3 as a proper business. For whatever reason, the government, in their wisdom, decided that they did not want RJR Gleaner to have this cable system. They wanted new players to enter the market.
Great design is not only how things look, but also how well they work. The GLC, more than meets the eye.
RJR and Gleaner decided that they wanted to apply for a cable license together. By this time, I had gone to Boston and I studied cable television and telcos. It was a very heady time because the 1996 Telcos Act was just being passed in America. I was taught, one of my professors was FCC, Federal Communications Commissioner, and so I was exposed. I visited Time Warner Cable. I knew a lot about cable systems at the time. But before that, as an undergraduate, based on just passion and interest, I had done, I think, what was the first cable study in Jamaica, looking at how they were set up and what services they were offering as an undergraduate. Before I went to Boston, they had asked me to be a consultant on the project. And so I went to the meetings, I wrote whatever needed to be written and guided the process. For whatever reason, the government, in their wisdom, decided that they did not want RJR Gleaner to have this cable system. They wanted new players to enter the market because remember, RJR was long established as having their radio brands. It was 2 brands at the time. Gleaner was a leading newspaper in the English-speaking Caribbean, so they thought, okay, let's widen the media pool. Then we caught wind that the government really didn't want Oliver Clark, who is a main person at the Gleaner, to have access to television. That was a talk at the time. I can't say whether it was so or not. And they rejected the proposal, the request for Gleaner RJR to have a channel. So Gleaner and RJR separated. And in their wisdom, the government thought RJR applied for JBC TV and the radio part of the Jamaica Broadcasting Corporation. And government sold it to Radio Jamaica. Radio Jamaica is a publicly listed company and with over 10,000 shareholders. So I think that was a part of what drove the government decision to sell JBC TV and Radio 1 to RJR. And because of the work that I had done as a consultant with a bid for the cable system, I was invited to head up this new entity. Plus, it wasn't just that I had done work. Phase 3 had been involved as well because they had come and met with Richard and I, and we had had many long conversations as to how the cable system could be set up. So I was invited to head up television, what became Television Jamaica. Now, coming into Television Jamaica, it was a fantastic time. We had inherited the goodwill of a Jamaica Broadcasting Corporation because whatever you might say about JBC, and there's a lot that people had to say because remember, the cable systems were running roughshod over JBC TV. They were pulling down the programs before they could even get to the cinemas in Jamaica. The cable systems were showing the newest and the best programs, and poor JBC was struggling. So it meant that by the time I started at the station, it was number 2 in a 2-market station outside of cable. And so But coming from my training in Boston and remember I told you I grew up feisty. And that determination and that will to succeed. I remember Paddy told me that somebody said to him, what I know about running a TV station. I said to Richard, well, tell them to just watch me. And I went and we formed a very small team of persons who worked very hard. And that little team of about 6 of us, we worked hard. And we conceptualized a lot of the programs people see now and they think, oh, they were always there. We strategized even to the point where we had to put Schools Challenge Quiz into peak prime time at one point just to be able to hold the sponsorship support. And it worked. It worked. We were able to turn the station around. We had some great things that we qualified for World Cup football. The other day we were talking about it, that was to me one of the most energetic and exciting times in Jamaica. We decided to do all around the island to carry these live outside broadcasts. The Raytown one, when we beat Japan in that match, it was like the whole country had come together for the Reggae Boys. TVJ was great. It was a great time. We all worked hard and we turned the station around and we became the #1 station. We were at the time at least 15 points ahead of CVM. And for the time I was at TVJ, they had about 3 different general managers because it's so they send them, it's so we lick them down and move on. And Jamaicans really, I think they were very proud of TVJ because they realized that we didn't dump the goodwill that people had for JBC. We enhanced what was there and we became truly the nation station. The focus on local content, that was something that it was very hard. For me, the local content was not about movies, it was about beefing up our local news. And so and the morning program, I will tell people I'm the one who brought Simon Croskill to TV. I'm the one who brought Neville Bell to television and a number of other persons, Emily Crooks to television, a number of persons who were not known to be TV personalities, but we brought them on and they really, really shone. When I went to TVJ, I had actually applied to CARIMAC to do my PhD and got accepted to do not an MPhil markup. I got accepted to go straight into a PhD program because as an undergraduate I got the Dean's Award for Excellence in my academic work 2 consecutive years, and the last year I got this Fulbright scholarship. So I was a strong student, and so TVJ, I ran the television program at CARIMAC. Before I went to TVJ, I ran it single-handedly, which is how I ended up teaching Lisa Hanna and Dr. Hume Johnson when they were undergraduates. And I started and I said, okay, I'm going to give myself 1 year at TVJ and then I'm going to start the PhD. After 1 year, I realized that I was in a fool's paradise because there was no way I could run the station and turn it around and do a PhD. So in the second year, I wrote the university. Second year at TVJ, I wrote the university and said, look, I'm pulling out of this program. And then after 6 years at TVJ, about to go into my 7th year, I said, it's either do the PhD now or it's going to be never. And so, plus there are other little changes at RJR that I am a woman who I know what I want. And if you are doing what I feel is not in my best interest, I'm not going to stay and complain and make your life miserable or make my life miserable. I'm going to say thank you very much, goodbye, just the way I did as a permanent secretary. I did it for 1 year. It was fantastic. I loved it. But when the time comes, I have no problem with the art of saying ta-ta when the time comes. And so when the time came at TVJ, I felt I had done what I needed to do. I had turned the station around. They were building TVJ, the new TVJ down at the RJR premises, and that was due to be moved in shortly. And so I said ta-ta. Well, big grown men whose name shall not be called, came to my office and bawled long tears. Marcia, Mrs. Falls, whatever they called me, because just different ones. Why are you leaving us at this time? I remember one staff member said, you are like Moses, we're at the Red Sea now and you're leaving us and we're going to drown. It was emotional to leave TVJ because we had worked so well as a team that grown men felt so torn that I was abandoning them, and I had to say, no, I've taught you enough and we've done enough together. You can travel that journey on your own. And they did. And TVJ has done tremendously well. And when I look at it, I'm proud because I know this is a part of my legacy. This is a part of what I have done and made my mark in Jamaica. In the mornings when I get out of bed, I'm motivated by, at this stage of my life, a sense of purpose of doing something for my country.
Do you want more experience from your SUV? Introducing the 2020 Nissan X-Trail with leading-edge technology, intelligent ride and chassis control, a round view monitor, and hill start assist for confidence behind the wheel, plus auto headlights and panoramic sunroof. Drive the SUV with more experience. The Nissan X-Trail, available today at Fidelity Motors.
They say it takes a village to raise a child, but the world will one day need the leadership of that child. The time you spend with your child matters. It stimulates their minds and shapes the way they act. Talk with your children. Help them to better understand the world around them and to value what is truly precious. Above all, the most valuable gift you can give them is love. Play, talk, teach, love. Take the time. It makes all the difference. A message from the Parenting Helpline and Ad Council Jamaica.
In the mornings when I get out of bed, I'm motivated by, at this stage of my life, a sense of purpose of doing something for my country, of doing something for the young people of my country. The books I've written, they've been dedicated to the young people, the youth of Jamaica. The first book, Music, Media and Adolescent Sexuality in Jamaica, looked at the influence of television on adolescents and their sexuality, in particular through the prism of music videos, which was like the #1 programming genre of adolescents when I was collecting my data. The second one looks at new media, because having looked at television, it sort of begged you to look at the things that were happening now, the Facebook, the Twitter, the way young people are using social media. And so the third one was to have drilled down some more into life online and to look at how people form relationships online. And I actually had started conducting data gathering for that, but my husband's health got really bad and all thoughts of book writing had to be kind of put on the back burner. Richard passed 8 months ago. And when I was in it, I knew it was hard, very hard in 2015 when I realized that I could not really cope on my own. My housekeeper used to go home every other weekend. And for the weekends that she was there, it was me and Patty. Patty, Richard used to go to phase 3, stay all day Saturday. I'd do whatever the women's stuff, your hair and whatever needs to be done on a Saturday. And then I'd pick him up. And then Sunday we'd do, family stuff. Well, when it got to the point where I started living in fear, I started feeling, Richard could fall and I wouldn't be able to pick him up. Or he could just die and it would be me alone and him, and how would I manage? And all of 2015, because he was blind for 18 years, but that never ever stopped him. He went rafting, he went parasailing, he did everything blind. Put him on his tube down the White River, tie him in, and the raft guide was there with him, and he'd go down the river tie him up, we go to Rio, put him in his thing. He's above the boat floating, happy as a lark. He went to Cuba, he's running to catch his bus. Just hold on to him and we're good. Then he changed and became this person who couldn't do all the things. And before he started dialysis, it was bad. But when he started dialysis, it was really hard because the dialysis brought on some other dialysis-related complications because he had renal failure in addition to being blind, and then it started taking a toll on his mental capacity. And so it was rough. The middle of 2015, it was like God sent me angels because I got to the point now where I felt I cannot cope. I'm really going to lose it. But everybody looking on thought, oh, Master, how you coping so well? Look how you take party everywhere. You're such a good wife. Of course, you'll always have the ex-girlfriends who would say, oh, she's a miserable old bat. But we would be up and down every weekend. Richard would be going to dinner parties, and we made it a point of duty. We'd go, different places. On a weekend, we'd drive to Port Antonio, or we'd try out the new highway. There was always something to be done, and Richard was always game. Up to the very end of his life, because Richard died on Wednesday, the 3rd of August, and on Tuesday, the 2nd of August, Richard was at phase 3 all day, holding court with everybody. It is only on reflection we realize that he was saying his goodbyes. We grew up with that spirit of knowing that you have to give back. So in my adult life, from I was at TVJ, I was invited to the board of the United Way of Jamaica, and I'm still on that board. And over the years, I've always been involved in voluntary activities. As we are now, I'm on the board of the Council of Voluntary Social Services. I chair a committee that spans both CVSS and United Way, Planning and Research Committee. I'm also on the steering committee of the 51% Coalition Women in Partnership for Development. More recently, since Paddy passed, I've been invited to be a part of the International Women's Forum. It's a global group of 6,500 women across about 35 countries. It looks at women in leadership, and our main mission is to increase and improve leadership in our country, because you never know how you can touch somebody's life. It might be a simple thing, but to that person, it's a huge thing. For me, wealth means that I have great family and friends, and I have enough money to do enough of the things that I want to do. I don't have enough money to be able to go to London 3-4 times a year, but I have enough money that if I really wanted to, I could afford one trip to London a year and probably a couple to the United States. I love to travel. I love to entertain. I love to be with family and friends. I love to be with my son and his wife Royan and my little grandson Ethan. That to me is wealth, having family that depend on you and love you and care about you. Yes, the money is important. I'm not going to tell you that it's, it's all right not to have any money. I would not be happy if I didn't have any money. And so having us enough money, but importantly having good friends and family.
All human life is precious. Respect life. No more senseless killings. No more.
Last week on Care in Hands, we featured the work of the Jamaica Society for the Blind. Our focus continues this week. Not everyone understands the world of the blind, and not everyone understands how a person with low vision functions. Care in Hands met Kamika Brathwaite, the Librarian and Information Technology Officer at the Jamaica Society for the Blind. She is low-visioned but gets around without using a cane and without physically depending on anyone.
Low vision is someone who still aren't able to read and so on. For instance, in my situation, I am able to walk, about fairly unassisted, right? Except for probably stairs, I have to pay a little more attention. But when it comes to, for instance, reading, my central vision is very impaired. So reading, I really cannot see much of it unless it's magnified by quite a bit. And but I have enough peripheral vision, but it's considered low vision because I can't read print and so on. I'm not able to see details. That's how I explain it, because for instance, I wouldn't be able to read the details of the print, or for instance, I can see your frame. I can see probably colors if I get closer to you. I can see the colors. But in terms of your facial features, I wouldn't be able to tell exactly what they are. I used to wear glasses, but it's now beyond that because I have glaucoma, and it was actually discovered when I was 7 years old. And it was already advanced. I had to do 2 surgeries back to back on both eyes. But after the surgeries, I could wear glasses. I was wearing glasses through, went to regular high school and everything. But then in the right eye, the pressure, because glaucoma is an increase in the intraocular pressure, started to go up. They couldn't control it. Different medication just wouldn't stop. They did another surgery, and from then the vision just deteriorated. And so glasses cannot help anymore. But magnification technology like the CCTV or on my tablet, when you use the magnification, I can see certain things bigger. It's better. Glaucoma has a hereditary aspect. So my son, I have him checked every year. My 3-year-old, well, she just came, and her eyes were checked when she was just born. So yeah, I have to have them checked every year to ensure that if it does begin to develop, I catch it early, right? 'Cause that's the thing with glaucoma, catch it early. It can be passed down in families, as well as trauma can cause it. Because I actually had a student last year, and how he got blind from glaucoma is that riding his bike, and I don't know, he said something hit him in the eye, some insect or something, and the 2 eyes went blind, glaucoma. In my situation, I don't really blame someone if you don't understand my vision, because I don't expect you to. If you see me walking towards you, I think it's normal for you to assume that, sometimes you go somewhere and you say, excuse me, like for the bus. I said, can you tell me what number that is? And they're looking at me like, and I'm visually impaired, So, but once you explain that to them, usually they're like, okay, it's a 44 or what number. But besides from that, sometimes persons can be very impatient even after telling them. And I'm just trying to explain, listen, you don't want anybody to feel sorry for you. That's another thing. And sometimes people try to give you a whole lot of, tell you a whole lot of different ways to, if you've been to this doctor and so on. But it's not that you really want. You want assistance. You don't want nobody to sorry for you. You need assistance when necessary. You need understanding. You need some empathy. You don't want sympathy, you want empathy. Just for assistance, right? And that's it. You don't need much more than that, because, even the Society for the Blind, they try to make persons as independent as possible. Because there's a degree of dependence that will have to happen. But just be empathetic to persons and assist when you can.
The Jamaica Society for the Blind teaches individuals daily living skills through their Adjustment to Blindness program.
Today, basically, George Smith, one of my clients, will be doing daily living skills. So George would like to prepare breakfast, and so I'm here today to basically show George how to prepare his own breakfast. George, what is it that you would like to prepare today?
Well, today I would like to prepare some callaloo and bread.
Callaloo bread, and that's it?
And tomato.
Yes.
All right.
As a side dish.
Yeah.
All right, yes. What else?
Then I will have some melon.
Yes.
Some juice as well.
Right, that sounds great. All right, so let's get cooking, right, George?
Get cooking now.
Right. Okay, so walk with me to the stove. All right, George, this is a match. Basically, with persons who have lost their sight, it's a matter of encouragement, right? It's a matter of confidence. Some of the things which our factors may contribute to it is families, right? They may live in a family setting where everything has been done for them. Person provides caregivers. And so they do not have to do anything except to get up, move from their bedroom to the settee or to go outside. In some cases, they don't even go outside. And so, as with George, I realized today that George has wowed me. I didn't do much. I did not do much. All I did was to talk with George and we discussed the sensory skills, how sensory skills can help you to move around, locate stuff. Sensory skills in terms of your nose can help you to smell. For example, we did callaloo, when the callaloo is about ready. So it gives you that kind of information. It could tell you it's peeling the onion, you see that the onion was bad. And so George did felt a little thing on it, but he paid no mind until I said something, and then he agreed that he did felt something, right? And so we had to throw that out and resort to using the scallion. Now he did that very well. So you see where he could feel the smoothness, and then he could tell that he had removed all of the things that needed to be removed from the scallion, right? In some cases, George just did not listen to me anymore, because now he knows exactly what he's doing, because he can do it. And that's all I wanted to do, was to help him to remember that he used to do this, he can do this. And so if I can work on their minds, right? As Bob Marley and Marcus Garvey, free yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our minds. Sometimes when we have people in our immediate setting and they tell us, look, you're going to burn down the house. We don't want you to go to the stove. We don't want you to do this. I am here to change all of that. And so I have done that today, and I feel accomplished. I am so happy because George is happy.
She learned me everything when we used to do then, back then. As you said, with it, like her, she come learn me at least the cooking years off. Right now she come, she just come pick me up. She pick me up. Like, pick yourself up and dust off. Well, that's what she did with me. I feel wonderful, feel good for knowing I can do something. I remember last when I cooked some rice and peas and chicken. I cooked 2013 for myself. So I'm glad for me, I can able to do something for myself. And give thanks.
Give these persons a chance. I beg you, give them a chance. Help me to help these people. Sometimes they accept it, but you may be a mother, a wife, a daughter, a son, a husband, but you can't accept it. If you can't, seek help. Both of you can get counseling. And we're at Jamaica Society for the Blind, we can provide counseling. for you and family members, because these are real issues that really need to be dealt with.
Coming up on Caring Hands.
They say it takes a village to raise a child, but the world will one day need the leadership of that child. The time you spend with your child matters. It stimulates their minds and shapes the way they act. Talk with your children. Help them to better understand the world around them and to value what is truly precious. Above all, the most valuable gift you can give them is love. Play, talk, teach, love. Take the time. It makes all the difference. A message from the Parenting Helpline and Ad Council Jamaica.
Current affairs you can relate to. Frank, credible discussion. On Point with Kalila Reynolds and Dennis Chung. Dissecting the issues, offering solutions to Jamaica's challenges. On Point, Thursdays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Superior Crafts and More, located on the grounds of the Jamaica Society for the Blind, offers the visually impaired an opportunity to be gainfully employed so that they can lead productive and independent lives.
We are a group of blind persons, blind and visually impaired persons, who work together to repair furniture, repair and build furniture. These baskets are called the Home Essential range because since Sevi come on board with us to help us, we just start building these things. Include laundry basket, fruit basket, plant holders, storage boxes, and you can get those from whether wicker or cane. We do also corded furniture where you get the long-time aluminum chairs that people used to use with the straps. We now change them and using cord. You can get them in different colors. We're trained to do the caning. All the wicker stuff, we get training. You train for 6 months and then you start working. This one is called a storage box. We have them in different sizes. These were open to sell. Persons come in and buy, we're open, persons will come in and buy them. This is a dustbin that we made. We're going to donate this one to somebody, that's why I wrapped it.
We mostly do repairs and refurbish of furniture. We do build and order, and affiliate we started on something called the Home Essential range, where we start to build baskets and planter box. We had a very difficult time with getting those off our hands. As a matter of fact, we did some for the summit, International Summit last year, January, and it cost us over 100 and 1,000 to do everything. And we haven't even gotten back 30,000 good out of what we spent. And they're all here piled up on us. So we just do things by order now. Because marketing is really a problem for us. We really need a marketing manager. But I guess we really can't pay anybody. So if somebody out there listening would like to take that on and work to pay themselves, would be grateful. Because marketing is a very important part of this business. and we're really having a hard time in getting all the stuff that we have now, and we need people to order. The thing about it now, you have the other organizations or the stores that will sell cheaper furniture. It's kind of very difficult when you use your good material both to build and to sell at a price. Sometimes they're saying it's too expensive. As a matter of fact, sometimes when they come into this organization, they actually want to tell you what you should sell for. Because I guess the perception is still out there that, well, disabled, blind people don't really need money. So when they really, our government look after them. So when you ask for a price, they'll say it's too expensive, but they'll go somewhere else and buy it. But as usual, disabled are always marginalized. So we're not getting a surprise. What we have to do is just keep pushing and pushing and hope that one day things will turn. As a matter of fact, things have made a great turn now, because first time, people, as a matter of fact, you guys wouldn't know about us. We put aside and all of that. But since the inception of SEBI, with Jamaica National Foundation, they had us on the program for 2 years. We have gone worldwide and we have seen a great improvement in our management structure and operation of business. We have learned a lot on costing and with marketing strategies and so on. That's why I know that we really need somebody out there to push for us as far as marketing is concerned. Our material cannot be sourced locally. That's a big problem. We have to buy it in US dollars from America. And the problem is that America have to buy it from China. So you see, second and the third hand source, so we have to pay dearly for it. So the thing about it, anybody out there, if we could get somebody who goes straight to China, that we could make a link with to source it for us, it will be much cheaper for us. Because you know the dollar sliding up and down, and we have to purchase it in US dollars. Luckily, the Society for the Blind now has a charity status, so they will help us to clear the material now. So we have the first of August cost that we usually pay to clear the material. And each time we buy, the material goes up. And the persons that come in, the customers that can't seem to understand that each time we buy, we have to pay more money for the material, and we're not raising the goods on them. So you see the predicament that we're in? Yeah. If you do put on something, they complain that, well, they can't afford it, and they have to realize that we have to purchase the material in US dollars because we cannot get it here. The material that we can get here is the cord. You can look around the cord to the metal chairs, and later we are starting doing other chairs in different colors. But the main important one is the one that we have to get from overseas. We want to tap into the export market. Now that's a big goal, a big dream that we have. I suppose one day we'll wake up and realize it, but for the time being, because you have seen the things that we have made, right? And they are of standard and good quality, but we need to, for money to come into this business, to pay substantial money to the staff, we need to get in some more money. And I think the export market will assist us fine to do that. People say that volunteerism is drying up and so on, but sometimes we need people to come in to read for us or to assist us in any way possible. We are going to start embarking on some fundraising efforts, and when that do, to enhance the funds that we have now, when that do get off the ground, we're going to need a lot of foot soldiers, to assist us in that area.
Coming up on Caring Hands.
It's season 12, and Wealth Magazine Business Access is here to keep you business savvy. With an impressive mix of some of Jamaica's most inspiring business moguls, we continue to keep Jamaica informed, empowered, and ready to dominate. Tune in Sundays at 5 p.m. only on BATV.
You're watching
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access. Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
Go for God Family Church.
Today's message is for those of you who thought that Jesus was finished.
Inspiring messages.
I'm here to tell you today that you are excellent. God is excellent.
Empowerment from biblical motivation.
To be glorified means to endow with authority. A woman is a powerful, creative being.
Join Pastor Christopher Morgan and the Go for God team as we go for God.
Cameo brings the creative industries to life, highlighting creatives in different fields each week. Art.
My life turns art. I breathe, I eat art.
Fashion. Food.
Without a customer, we're nothing but four walls.
Music. Film. Cameo, only on Business Access TV.
Violence against women is a violation of human rights. Its impact ranges from immediate to long-term physical, mental, and sexual consequences, sometimes resulting in death. It negatively impacts women's general well-being and can prevent us from fully participating in society. Be a better human being. No more violence against women. No more.
Maxine McIntosh is the Senior Caner and Vice President at Superior Crafts and More. She has been working here since 2000.
Senior Caner does the difficult type of jobs that comes in. You have some chairs that are very difficult. Like you have some chairs that are called planters, some that are oblong shaped, some that are round. The Senior Caner would mostly be doing those. I was born blind, unfortunately. But I guess I'm proud. Proud woman. I can braid here. The only thing I can do is drive. So I have to give God thanks that even though I'm blind, I'm still able to walk and to move about. That makes me independent because I've been looking at myself and I'm saying, I am blind, what if I couldn't walk? That would cause me to worry. I think I'll die soon. But yeah, I was born blind. I learned this craft at Creative Craft Plus, that's situated in 92 Hanover Street, that's downtown. I learned it in 1999 and I started here in about 2000 or 2001. And I worked here from then until about 2008 or 2009. I stopped for 2 years and restarted in 2011. Some chairs very challenging and difficult, but then after I take some time away from it, give it a break, give it a time, you just leave it, just walk out and leave it for a while. Like what I did with this one, because when I started it, I wasn't feeling too sure. There was too wide areas, some wide areas in it, and I wasn't feeling too comfortable, so I give it a time. And then when I came back and I studied it, I started feeling it out. And I discovered these holes in the foot. And I said, oh, it's not like what the planters normally carry. And so I started putting it up that way, and having done it, I found out that it was the right way. So sometimes I have to study them, leave them, even go home and dream about them, come back and tackle them. I've had experiences in the JLTC bus because that's what I take, public transportation. And I remember one day when it was raining, and I took the bus, and people were saying, where should I go? Where should I stay on my yard? Just rain a fall. But to them, they didn't understand that, like them, we have to do our things. We have our needs and demands to be met. So sometimes when persons see we walking on the road, they want to assist us long time. And I believe in when you make the first step, you will get help. Just make the first step. Well, I'm doing chair caning right now. I'm caning a chair. Now each chair takes 7 stages to complete, and I'm on the 4th stage. And I'm now going to take the cane. I'm taking the cane and finding the end of it, and I'm putting it into this hole here. Right. So it's a weaving process. The 4th stage is a weaving process. Now, as you can see, here you have
The first stage being under this, the third being on top, and the second being in the middle, in between here. So when you're doing the fourth stage, you have to go into a line that has only one single cane, which is the second stage cane. And you can't go behind that second stage, you have to go before it in order to do the fourth stage. So I'm going to give you an example of what I'm talking about. When persons who are blind and visually impaired, persons who are blind like myself and visually impaired, who are not being dependent on anyone but is trying to earn a living for themselves, like me, it gives me a drive. It motivates me to not to give up, because sometimes, I'm not going to lie to you, sometimes I feel like to give up, because yes, we all are going through stress, we all have rough times. So when you can earn $1 for yourself, knowing that you are the one who went and did that particular thing to get that money, it makes you feel good, it motivates you, it gives me that drive, that push to go on, because I have 2 children, a girl and a boy. So it motivates me, especially when I know that I can work and I can buy something for my daughter, especially her, because she's the younger one now. So it just makes me feel good, knowing that I am not depending on anybody really. I am working from my own, no matter how small, no matter how long it takes, but the money is mine.
Persons out there who are willing to assist us, we are appealing for volunteers. Persons who are willing to do so can call us at 522-9264, 779-4715, 922-5140, extension 3409. And as for Dinty Davis, Claudette Thompson.
If you meet someone who is blind or visually impaired and you're not sure what to do, here are some tips. Until a blind person knows your voice, identify yourself when you meet, along with anyone else who enters the conversation. Do not pet or talk to guide dogs while they are working. It can be distracting. If you come to a door, mention how it opens, in or out, left or right. Indicate the direction of the stairs, up or down, and if they are wide or narrow. Never talk to a third party who might be with them, such as a driver, reader, teacher, or tutor. Remember, you are addressing them. If you offer assistance, wait until the offer is accepted. Then listen or ask for instructions. Do not shout. Just speak in a normal tone of voice as usual. Remember, they are blind, not deaf. Your business matters. Business Access TV offers you the most innovative and effective advertising solution for your business, specializing in B2B sales, cost-effective solutions, the customers you want, the repetition you need. No matter the size and nature of your company, your business matters. Call us at 876-618-2870 or email us at sales@batvja.com. Business Access TV, serious about business. The Good Life, your trusted source for useful health and wellness information, lifestyle tips for the mind, body, and soul. Tune in Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m.